Go. Hello.
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 So, my name is Paulie, and I'm joined by two of my good friends here.
And I'm Austin. You know me.
I'm Nick. I'm new.
Okay.
I'm Paulie's one of his good friends that he mentioned.
So, basically, welcome to the
Season 2.
or reboot of the ForLoco podcast. So this podcast was started last year by Austin and I, my good friend. But this year we're going to be doing it a little bit differently. So last year, what Austin and I would do is we would find niche things on the internet usually, and then we would just make a 30 to 40 minute podcast episode trying to explain in great detail all of the little bits about this.
Basically just explaining stuff to people.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we found out that this format was problematic for us for a few reasons.
Do you want to go into those reasons? Or?
I would like to go into those reasons, actually. So the number one reason why this format was problematic was because Austin never, ever did the research.
Hey, yes I did. What are you talking about?
No. I would come into our podcast meetings, Nick, I'm telling you, with 3 or 4 pages handwritten of notes about like crazy fraud.
I wrote my notes. What are you talking
or
about?
Papa John's.
How big was your handwriting? It's like 3 to 4 pages. You write like
He's
one word per
page. It was normal size handwriting. And Austin would come in and be like, "Yeah, I watched the YouTube video."
What? I had a page.
As
of
the
notes.
person who's lived with Austin for the past 3 years, I can guarantee YouTube is his research. I will give him that credit.
Okay. The other problem with this is that the 3 of us are seniors in college, and I don't think any of us have the time amongst our many other things to be researching, Papa John's and the complex lawsuits that he finds himself in.
We would love to, but we have other things to do.
Although, honestly, though, the Papa John's lawsuit story is still going on.
Yeah.
Papa John sued Papa John's.
So I have a question. So you say you don't have the time for the research of this, but you clearly have a strong knowledge base.
It's pizza.
It's because the Papa John story is just so interesting that I've just kept up on it. So Papa John, not Papa John's, but Papa John. He made this website recently, and it's like this whole big long website where he's like, "Don't worry, my supporters, we will get through this. We will find the truth about Papa John's and restore life to order." Like he's acting like he's like a religion. Like he is like the Messiah in a religion.
I mean, have you tasted his pizzas?
Do you not pray to his pizzas every single day?
I do not.
Didn't he get fired or something?
No, yeah, that he got fired from Papa John's, and now he's suing Papa John's. I don't really know for what, but I know he
I'm sure we can figure out.
Yeah.
Well, his name. The company is his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
With his sketchy business and all those things.
Yeah. But anyway, enough of Papa John's. So now the concept of this podcast, believe it or not, it is not a Papa John's podcast.
It's Domino's.
But it's pretty much just going to be me, Austin, and Nick, and perhaps on some rare occasions, special guests, sitting here for X amount of time, what's the word I'm looking for? Shoot in the dark? Shot in the dark? Is that it?
Sure.
Shooting the hoop? I don't know.
I'm
not sure what term you're looking for.
You're just we're just talking, like nothing specific.
So we're talking. That's
yeah,
the term
exactly.
You're looking for.
It's like a podcast. That's like what 80% of podcasts are now anyway, so
Really?
Yeah. No, like most podcasts now.
Are we sellouts now, Paulie?
We're not sellouts because we're making no money. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can't really sell out if we're.
Yeah. We can make a Patreon page and then be sellouts.
If people like us.
Yeah, you're pushing it there.
Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to start off by telling a story about something that happened to me today, actually.
Ooh.
So today I went apple picking. So I had work from 8 to 1, and then I left work immediately with my roommates, and then we all went apple picking. So all 4 of us, because I live with 3 girls. And so we get it's like a 30-minute drive to this apple picking place. It's called like Linville Gardens or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
okay. Is that the place you guys went?
No.
Okay. But anyway, we get there and we get there in like 20 minutes, but it's like a 30-minute drive. But then we have like 0.6 miles to go, and there's just this like row of cars that just goes on and on and on forever.
I'm assuming that was people parking.
Yeah, exactly. But no, like it literally took us 10 minutes to just get into the parking lot. So then we get into the parking lot and we park our car as you would.
As you would in a parking lot. Yeah, go on.
And we get to like the area of the apple picking, and we're like, oh, how much is it for like? Because they have like these big boxes that they're giving out to people. We're like, oh, how much is it for a box? And the woman is like, well, it's $5 per head to enter the orchard. And
they're making you do math here. I'm already not a fan of this.
And then you and then it's like some complicated formula. So then it's like you fill the box with apples, and it's $2.99 a pound for the apples, and you can subtract some of your like admission fee from your total cost at the end. So, but basically what they're saying is, so all four of us wanted to go and pick apples, right? So basically what they're saying is we had to buy a minimum of $20 of apples.
I feel like this is a really exploitable system.
I was gonna say apples are cheaper at like giant.
No,
like
exactly.
$2.99's a lot.
No, yeah. So we all were kind of just like sitting there, like,
what do we do?
Talking about the decision, and we decided not to go in because there was also like a farmer area and like animals and like free stuff to do, like look at pumpkins and stuff.
Looking at pumpkins, yeah.
Well, and looking at the animals too.
In this weather, yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice fall day. So then we decided not to do that. So then we get into the farmer's market area, and there's this batch of like the apples from the orchard, and they sell them in a bag for $1.99 a pound. Like, do you know how stupid that is?
You're paying them to do labor for them.
Exactly.
You're paying an extra
you
dollar.
You literally
for
are paying them to do. Like, people are so obsessed with paying for the experience that they're literally like, this is worse than slavery.
I don't know.
You're on the air,
I think that's pushing it there a little bit.
You said that on the air.
You had the choice to leave and go home.
Okay, that's true. That's true, but also, you're paying to do labor. It should never be that way. And the option to not do labor is cheaper. Like, I don't understand why anyone would pay for the apple.
Well, you're paying for the excitement of
for
being
the
able
experience
to pick your
of
own
picking
stand
apples.
out there in the cold weather,
like,
you know.
Yeah.
Look at the apples.
You ever like be at a grocery store and be like, all these apples are like crappy. I don't want these. There's like a worm in one of them. Like, you don't want
exactly.
that. Yeah. Now you have the choice to pick those apples and regret that decision later.
So it's your fault.
Yeah.
Basically.
So that way you can. Yeah.
So you can blame yourself on the apples.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I see. I disagree. I think it's stupid.
I'm not saying it's not a stupid idea. I agree with you, but
okay.
So
like
you're exposing these people on the air is what you're saying.
You're
you just
calling
named
them out.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, they seem to be selling plenty of apples, so I don't think I'm gonna hurt them.
I feel like they're a part of a greater system of farms exploiting people for labor.
Episode 1 of season 2, folks, were already canceled.
Yeah, by Linville Gardens or whatever. So yeah, that was most of my day. Was apple picking. Oh, also, my roommate found a really tiny pumpkin.
Yeah,
I'm talking like the size, like could fit in one of your hands pumpkin. And it was 79 cents a pound, and that was the only thing she wanted. So she paid like 45 cents for it.
Nice.
Huh.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
Because it wasn't even a pound; it was such a tiny pumpkin. Also, I think she ripped the stem off, which decreased the weight even further.
Did she keep the stem to glue back on later? Or
I don't know. I did not follow up on that.
Don't we have a small pumpkin like that too?
We do. We got it for free though.
Yeah.
Like.
Wait, why do we get it for free?
So, all right. I'll go into a story. It's not that exciting like Paulie's. It's not that long.
I forget how we got that.
I was on the way back with Austin and his other roommate because we got ice cream and we're walking and we just ran into these random people that had a bunch of painted pumpkins. We're like, yo, there's just some nice painted pumpkins. Like one was like a rainbowy type of color. It was nice. And then they're like, oh, you like pumpkins? We have this random unpainted one. They were just giving them away for free. Here you go. And we got a pumpkin. That's the story.
Were they like old people?
No, it was Kieran and his girlfriend and his girlfriend's sister.
Okay, so they were. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
so
And they just had a ton of pumpkins.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, good for them. You guys got a free pumpkin.
I mean, I don't know if they paid for the pumpkins, but for us, it was a free one.
Yeah. So somebody didn't pay for the pumpkin. That's all that matters.
We didn't pay for the pumpkin.
Yeah. So
it was very nice of them. I appreciate it.
So what about you guys? How have your days/weeks been?
It's been really cold. All of a sudden,
Austin, it's like 60 degrees and it's been 90 degrees and it's October.
3 hours ago.
It was 40 degrees in the morning.
Yeah, when I woke up for work.
3 hours ago.
Austin just hates the cold. It's because he's from Hawaii. You Hawaiian scum.
You're dropping it now. Are we racial profiling now?
Well, do you like the cold, Austin?
Yeah.
Two?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, anything else exciting happening in your lives?
Well, I mean, I work at Starbucks, so
What's the worst thing that's happened to you at
Today.
Starbucks this week?
Today.
No,
Today.
today actually wasn't that bad. Today was really busy, but not bad. Like, we made money. Someone gave me a $5 tip today.
Ooh la
Like,
la.
it goes into the tip jar, so it's not to me. It's to
Yeah.
everyone. But like,
Yeah.
that was 50% of their order. Their order was $10, so they
Yeah.
paid like.
Yeah.
It was very nice. One of the worst things that's ever happened to me is So a thing people don't know about Starbucks is we're Starbucks, not Starbanks. We don't have that much money in the register. We have maybe $50 max at a given time. And if you pay us with a $20 bill, it goes into like a separate drop box. So if someone robs us, they don't get all of our money.
Oh, that's smart.
Like I can't even access that drop box.
Mhm.
I can't even access the register without someone buying
So what's the
something.
largest bill you can take then?
We can take 20s. If we can take 50s and 100s if you're reloading a card, or if your order is $45 and you're paying with the 50, yeah, you can pay with the 50. Like that's not the problem.
Yeah.
But this old guy walks in.
Oh boy.
And by old I mean like he's in like his late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, I shouldn't say like oh boy to the prospect of someone being old. By
Yeah,
the
but
way.
you went there.
Yeah,
Because
like,
there's
oh,
old people-
this guy's 60. Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Get ready.
Yeah, so the guy walks in and he's like, I just want a venti coffee, which is the largest size you can get for a hot coffee at our store. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. It's just gonna be like, it's like $2.81. It's less than $3 for this cup of coffee. And he's like, all right, cool. And he goes to pay me with a 50. I said, sir, I'm not allowed to accept this $50 bill. I do not have enough money in the register to break a 50. And I was about to say, I can ask my manager to see if I can get access into this Dropbox so we can make change for you. It's like,
Oh wait, let me guess. He pulls out 3 singles.
no.
Oh, okay, because that wasn't
The
even
guy-
bad.
The guy, that's happened before. But the guy, he goes, all I want is a goddamn coffee. And like starts flipping out. It takes his 50. He just walks out of the store, like slams the door behind him. Like,
Wow.
all right, like go to Wawa across the street where they got like $1 million in the register.
Yeah, I mean honestly, that's kind of like crazy. Like,
yeah, like if you you just want to pay for
like
a
if he
coffee.
really, because the thing that like gets me about that is like he's pretending that the thing that he really wants is the coffee when that's so obviously not true. Because if what he really wanted was the coffee, he would have taken the coffee.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Exactly. Like
And it didn't cost that much either.
yeah, no, it's less than $3.
He just
I mean,
wants
I'll
it.
admit Starbucks is expensive.
No, yeah,
This
like
was
that's
cheap.
super expensive for a coffee, but like also he walked into that Starbucks knowing that
Yeah.
was like his decision. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
there to make a scene.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like obviously.
There's people like when Starbucks announced that they're no longer having straws, like they're slowly phasing them out and going for the sippable lids, which I agree with that decision personally. Like I can see the pros and
Okay,
cons of that.
well wait. I agree with the decision that straws, like as a term of plastic waste, are bad. But my thing is, like everyone's all on the straw thing now. I don't get why we started with straws. That feels like a really tiny battle to win.
My logic of it is because it's such a simple thing. That's why people went for that first. It's like they're an unnecessary waste.
I
We can
guess.
do
Well,
like
that could've
not
been-
that it's gonna make a
That could
big
have been the new
impact.
topic had we kept the old format. Why are straws invented?
Like
What the hell, Austin?
and people were like
Hey, you
came-
brought it up.
And people came and were like, "What if someone has a disability and needs a straw?" Like, well, then we
Yeah,
sell
also-
reusable straws, and B, like
Yeah,
we're not
also-
gonna not
yeah,
have straws.
Yeah, also like a reusable straw is really not like a big deal. Like it's
Yeah.
probably for the better. Although my thing is like, why did they not start with plastic bags? Because like plastic bags are so much bigger. We use so many of them. Like in my house, we've lived there for like 2 months, and we have like I'd say more than 300
Well,
plastic bags. In the corner.
Starbucks doesn't have plastic bags to begin with.
Yeah, okay. I'm talking about stuff beyond Starbucks here.
So just
I
in
got it.
general.
I got it. I'm just
So like grocery stores, basically.
Yeah, no, like I don't get why grocery like in London when you show up to a grocery store, if you don't bring your own bag, you have to pay like 5 pence for each plastic bag you use.
Yeah.
places are doing that. Like Washington D.C., you have to pay.
Yeah, like,
to
thank
use
God.
plastic bags. Like that is a thing that's happening.
Yeah,
It's not that it's not happening.
but like also the other thing that should really happen, I don't think this one is happening is like I got hydrocolloid bandages from Amazon the other day. Do you know what those are?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll get into those later. But anyway,
Okay, we're just gonna.
All right.
I guess it's an unnecessary detail of what these band-aids are.
okay, they're like bandages. When you have a pimple, you pop the pimple, you put the bandage on the pimple, and then you leave the bandage on for like 8 hours, and then you take the bandage off, and then the pimple's gone.
Oh, so
like,
you needed this?
like Yeah, I needed this. It was like $3.
Paulie is a
Yeah,
beautiful
I strive for beauty. Okay.
He has to keep
Also-
up his appearance.
Also, I'm gonna do some visual stuff here, but even though it's an audio podcast, but you see this?
Yeah, I
That
do.
was like
Yeah.
a full pimple yesterday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, you see? Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
advertise.
It's good now. Yeah.
Hey, we're advertising.
Gotta get
Sponsor
that
us.
Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Well, anyway, what was I talking about?
The
Oh yeah,
package.
the Amazon package.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
Oh yeah.
this package, like the hydrocolloid bandages, are like the size of like a Capri Sun, for
Yeah.
example. Like that, it's not a big package.
hey, wait.
The cardboard box that it came in was like. Half of a pizza box, and then there was like another little bit of cardboard packaging inside to hold the hydrocolloid bandages. So there were like 2 layers of cardboard. Like that's unnecessary.
I mean, I have a huge issue with how Amazon packages things. It's like, yeah, like I'll order something that'll be the size of like a handful of something, and
it's in a big
they'll send me a box the size of me.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's
But
unnecessary.
I feel like there's like shipping laws for that though, or some.
No.
There's got to be some reason.
No, like my dad gets stuff. He has he has his own business where he makes like fishing rods and
Oh, so
fishing
it's
equipment,
just
and he gets
Amazon.
boxes that.
Is that like what your dad does? as a
No,
welder?
he's actually a welder.
Oh, okay,
This is his
okay.
hobby. that he does.
Okay. Because I was gonna say that's sick. I mean, being a welder is also sick,
Yeah.
but you know.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a very small box that this stuff will come in, and the box only holds the stuff. It's one thing
Yeah.
if it's something that needs a lot of packaging protection, but Band-Aids don't need that much protection.
Also, I think we got heavily derailed because I think you were still talking about Starbucks.
I think I was,
But
but
I
But I
honestly
mean,
lost
it's
it.
what this is all about now.
Yeah.
New
we're
format.
talking about the greater social issues
Exactly.
behind these stories.
Speaking of dads, I have a question, Nick. Do you like classic rock?
Yes.
Okay, Austin, do you like classic rock?
Yeah.
Do you love classic rock? Would either of you say?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, okay, I'm gonna give Austin a no on love. I'm gonna give you a yes on love. I'm gonna give me a yes on love too. Okay, now how would you say? Oh wait. Okay, so my point in this is I saw this tweet the other day that was like, it was like, oh, you like classic rock? Yeah, I get it. You're white and have a good relationship with your father. And I was like, oh yeah, that's relatable.
I mean, I'm white and have a good relationship with my father, so
I think there's some connection there.
I
yeah.
mean, I mean, looks down. I mean,
Are you white, Austin?
do I look white to you?
Austin's not white for any listeners.
Yeah, I was
Austin
gonna
is
say.
half black and half Asian.
Yeah. Yeah, we call that bleaching. But like, I wouldn't say I love classic rock, but I do like it, probably because of my dad, because he listens to it a lot.
Yeah. So I guess the point of this podcast is we all have good relationships with our fathers.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
As we all have our insecurities deep inside, our deep dark problems, crying out in the public airwaves.
I can think of
I
like a.
feel that Austin is projecting something. Oh, also I have one more story to tell, but you go first.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I have another small story that
Okay.
might blow up into a bigger conversation, like
okay.
my last one.
Let's go.
All right. So this is back when I worked at Giant, which for those of our listeners who don't know
Don't
that,
call them viewers. Don't call them viewers.
Yeah.
for
Don't
their
watch
listeners,
anything.
my bad. Well, they can watch the like time go by as they're
Oh,
watching.
Oh,
I
that's
actually
true.
I actually do that sometimes if I'm at the gym and I want to like do a stretch for like 30 seconds and I'm listening to a podcast. I'll like use the podcast
Yeah,
timer.
there
All
you
right.
go.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you can view it.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
watch time.
All right. Anyway, so this is back when I worked at a grocery store called Giant, and this is one of my last weeks there. And so I haven't been there for 2 weeks because was away and everything. And we had the sale. It was buy one get one free on strawberries and buy one get one free on blueberries. But the blueberries and the strawberries were the same price. Usually when that happens, you can mix and match. So you can get a strawberry and get that blueberry for free, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
But I was 100% sure if that was valid on this deal, like it usually is.
Mhm.
This lady walks up to me and says, "Hi, can I mix and match? Can I get like a blueberry and a strawberry?" And I said, "Most likely, yes. In most cases, yes, that'll happen. Let me double check with my manager, who's right over there. Like, I can see him. And I point him out, and like I'll find out this. I'll find this information for you, like I always do, because I'm a helpful person." She goes, "No worry. If they say I can't do it, I'm just gonna fight with them at the register until they give it to me."
Wow.
Dang.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was like, "Whoa, lady,
Respect.
like, no,
Whoa.
not respect."
No,
Because
I disrespect.
I also sometimes have to work the register. I
That
don't
is
want to
funny.
deal with that.
Yeah.
Because the lady was just, her plan was, rather than find out the information that was probably the answer she wanted, her solution was just, I'm going to fight until I get what I want.
Yeah, that's
Over getting a pack of blueberries that are like $2.99. for free.
Yeah, that's annoying. I don't like that. Like, I can't even imagine like someone's thought process being like if X doesn't go my way, I will fight until Y goes my way.
Oh man, like working at Giant completely opened my mind to how terrible customers can be. Like, you know the saying, the customer's always right.
Yeah,
I
the
think
customer's not always right.
The customer is always.
It's just easier to agree with them.
Just
get it over with.
Whatever. And that's what the managers there do. It's like, whatever you want, just get out of my store.
Yeah.
Is the mindset.
But I feel like in that case, wasn't she was kind of old, so she might have.
No,
just
she
been...
was like 40s.
Oh, she wasn't that old.
Again,
yeah,
like,
why are we?
okay.
I think we do this thing where we assume everyone in Nick's stories are really old.
They're
usually like normal people.
Yeah, no,
Not
like,
that old people aren't normal
This
people.
was just old lady Mrs. Johnson trying to get her berries.
Nah, this lady was like in her 40s.
Oh, then,
like
Yeah.
I mean, I have a story with an old lady. If you guys want to hear that one.
Wait. I have a story.
Oh yeah,
too.
you go first.
Okay, so I actually have two, but this one happened today, so I'm gonna start with this one. So, at the LA Fitness I work at, I do the babysitting like kids club.
Yeah.
So basically, moms come in and they bring their kids, and I chill with their kids for a bit until they're done working out, and it's really chill. But we have a TV that has shows. It's always on Disney Junior, and Disney Junior has some shows that I can like stand. Yeah, like Puppy Dog Pals. Good show.
Never heard of it, but I'll take it.
It's about like these Puppy Dog Pals. It's like about these two puppies. I forget their names, and they have an owner who's like an inventor. Like that's his career. So like he makes them all this like sick stuff. Like he puts a tennis ball on like a tracker, and it's just like always running away whenever they want to play fetch. So like it's
very simple format.
So it's like a rabbit.
Well, yeah, but then the thing is like he'll always like mess something up on his way to work. Like he's doing a puzzle and it's of a leopard, and like he'll lose the picture, so he doesn't know what a leopard looks like. So then the puppies go to Africa. They paint themselves to look like leopards. That way their owner can complete the puzzle. Like it's so sick.
I can get behind this show.
Yeah, no, it's a sick show. I highly recommend.
I feel like it's a waste of resources when you have Google and you just look up the picture.
They're
of a
puppies,
leopard.
He's a puppy.
This guy isn't a puppy who's clearly ingenious enough to make inventions,
Nick does
but
have a
forgets what
point.
a leopard looks like.
Nick does have a point. If he's got paws and doing a puzzle,
He doesn't have paws.
No, he's a person.
He's a human. He's their owner.
Oh, the owner. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, if the owner is so smart, they can do it. More probably, if the puppies are so smart that they can get to Africa.
There's another episode of Puppy Dog Pals. This isn't even my story yet.
Yeah, I think we're getting way off track.
No, Puppy Dog Pals is so good though. I actually highly recommend the show. There's another episode though where he gets a boomerang. The owner, he gets a boomerang from his cousin in Australia, and his one of the puppies thinks it's a chew toy, so he breaks it. So then the puppies are just like,
oh no,
because he's chewing it and it breaks. So then the puppies are just like, all right, better get to Australia and get them their boomerang. And then they meet these kangaroos, like give them the boomerang, and then they just put it back where it was. And the owner gets there and he's like, oh, I guess my cousin sent me 2 boomerangs and one of them broke, but the other one's fine. This is great. And he's just like, oh wait, like he is just so oblivious to like the genius that is his 2 puppies, and it's so sad. Honestly,
is he aware the puppies talk?
I don't think he understands the puppies. I think I don't think the dialect.
We need to find the lore.
Anyway, the point of this story is so today, a show came on that I've never seen, and it was called Fancy Nancy, and this is the worst goddamn show I have ever seen in my life. I hate it so much, and I've only seen 2 episodes.
Isn't it a kids show?
Yeah, it's so bad. It is. It's like.
Well, I don't think you're a part of the target audience.
No. I'm convinced there's no child. Like, I'm telling you, usually there's at least 1 or 2 kids watching the TV. When Fancy Nancy came on, every kid started playing with blocks or with coloring or
Maybe
something.
it inspired them.
No,
all right,
no.
well,
Let me tell you
so
this is the concept of Fancy Nancy. So there's this family, and there's mom, dad, Fancy Nancy, and JoJo. JoJo, for some reason, in the 2 episodes I watched, is always dressed like a pirate. She's the baby sister. She's just coincidentally always a pirate, I guess. I don't know. And then the mom and dad are just like normal parents. But then Fancy Nancy, this... I'm struggling not to curse here. This girl, so all of the rest of her family has like brown hair and like wear it normally. She has like red hair, and she has it in like this like fancy like braided bow that like goes almost straight up.
I mean, she is Fancy Nancy.
Yeah, no, that's the whole point. So she's like super fancy, like that's her thing, I guess. And she says like tons of things in French. Like she's super pretentious, like all the time.
She's trying to be fancy. She's fancy Nancy.
No, but like, shut up, Nancy. Like you have this great life, and you're like so obsessed with being fancy that like you're ruining it for everyone. Like one episode was about Mother's Day, and so she wants to give her ma a spa day. So she like, I don't know, like bought like all this fancy stuff, and then Fancy Nancy, the idiot she is, accidentally knocks all the like creams into the toilet. So they're all ruined, obviously. And the mom is like, okay, well, how about I help you? And Fancy Nancy's like, no, it's Mother's Day. You can't help me. So Fancy Nancy goes downstairs to the kitchen, takes avocados, and bashes them into what is basically guacamole. And then is like, oh, this is my special avocado face cream. And then she makes her mom rub avocado sauce on her face. Like, she's evil, Fancy Nancy is.
I mean, she's got the red hair.
All right, so I have a greater question that has nothing to do with Paulie's story.
Yes.
So, what do you guys define as guacamole? Because, like, you just said, like, she basically mashed 2 avocados so she made guacamole. But, like, isn't guacamole more than just avocado?
No,
it is.
There's bad guacamole.
Okay, she put bad guacamole on her mom's face.
There we go.
That's the point that I'm trying to get to. And then the second
It's not
episode,
even good guacamole. It was bad.
she put bad guacamole on her mom's face. So then the second episode, her dad gets a call from the office that he has to work from home today. So Fancy Nancy is like, oh, well, I'm going to be your assistant. Because apparently Fancy Nancy doesn't go to school or something. I don't know.
She don't need school. She's too fancy.
Yeah, she's too fancy for school. Yeah, they made her sit on a wood desk and she was like, nah, get me out of here.
Or maybe it was, like, summer. Or
Hey,
maybe it was
let's not
summer.
assume. Let's not assume.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so Fancy Nancy's like, okay, Dad, I'm going to be your assistant today. So she starts immediately messing stuff up from the get-go. She messes stuff up from her dad. So the first thing he's like is, oh, can you answer calls for me? And she's like, sure. So she picks up the phone and she's like, oh, Dad, it's for you. Then she hangs up the phone, walks to her dad and is like, hey, Dad, the phone's for you. And he's like, oh, well, you hung up the phone, so it's not for me. So, you know, so then this is like the crux of this episode, though. Also, I'm really sorry this episode of the podcast has turned into a Fancy Nancy review.
More of Fancy Nancy.
So Fancy Nancy, her dad gives her envelopes, and he's like, Fancy Nancy, can you just stamp these envelopes for me?
That's a hard task.
Super easy. Fancy Nancy, a fancy woman, should be able to do this, no problem. Also, I want to mention she put on like a blazer to be his assistant. Like, screw you, Fancy Nancy.
What kid has
She wants to be
Right?
fancy.
Anyway, yeah,
She's
Fancy Nancy
Nancy.
does because she's. So anyway, Fancy Nancy, she stamps like 2 of the envelopes, right? She puts stamps on them, and then she decides, wait a minute, these would look a lot better with glitter and stickers. So then she starts putting.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong, but so she puts glitter and stickers on the envelopes, and then instead of like showing her dad what she did, she decides, oh, I'm gonna take initiative, even though I don't know what I'm doing, and take the envelopes and put them in the mailbox. Then she tells her dad, and her dad's like, wait, why are all the stamps still here? And she's like, oh, I used my stickers. And then the dad comes to, like, check the mailbox, but the mailman already took the envelopes.
How do you remember all this?
Because I watched it.
It made him really angry.
Yeah, no, it was, like, actually infuriating me. And then, also, like, you gotta understand how infuriating this, because, like, the whole time, she's just like, ooh la la, merci, bonjour, you know? Like, speak English, Fancy Nancy. Like,
Are we allowed to say this? You're gonna get us canceled, Paulie.
I got a more important question.
We
Are you supposed to be watching children and, like, doing your job while watching this?
There were, like, 5 kids, and they were, like, just chilling, so it was fine.
Yeah, maybe there were 6 kids and you never knew.
Yeah, probably like a bit more kids had just, like, left under your watch.
We apologize to all of our Fancy Nancy fans out there. We do not intend to offend.
Oh, I'm not apologizing to the Fancy Nancy.
Yeah,
fans.
honestly,
I'm not sure
the Fancy Nancy fans can, like, die.
Whoa, okay, no.
Telling literal children to die.
No, there's no children who are a fan of Fancy Nancy.
I guarantee you we can find a fan of Fancy Nancy right now.
Actually, there was a girl, I think, who told me that her holiday
There we
costume is
go.
Fancy
There
Nancy.
you
we go.
There we go. You already
We apologize for insulting you.
Yeah,
Paulie
no, she's
apologizes.
actually a super nice girl, so I do apologize.
Yeah, Austin and I have nothing to apologize.
I mean, as a collective, I think we should apologize.
Yeah,
Okay. Should I move on to my next story, or do we want to continue to bash Fancy Nancy anymore?
Let's move on to another story. I think we need to move on to Fancy Nancy.
I think this might just be a thing where every week I'll just recount episodes of Fancy Nancy and just progressively
You're
angry.
gonna be an avid fan by the time this.
Yeah, no, like now I'm like hating it. By the end, I'll be like, and Nancy learned the meaning
of sharing.
And then, like, in the greater scheme of things, you're giving them views, so you're giving the show money.
Yeah, true.
So
It's true.
whether you hate it or love it, they're getting somehow.
Yeah.
We're already tools
Also-
of the system.
Also, speaking of like commercials, like and like views and stuff, Disney Junior, all the commercials are for other Disney Junior shows.
I mean,
like-
that makes sense.
Yeah, but like, how do they make money? Like, who's
Well,
paying?
it's
them?
Have you
Disney.
met
It's
Disney?
Disney.
No, okay.
They don't need to make money.
Fair point. Fair point. There was like one Pampers commercial.
They're allowed to do that. It's Disney.
Also, like, why are they advertising Pampers to the kids? Like, the
'Cause
kids use them.
Because the parents are usually watching a show with
No,
you.
it was me.
yes, we know.
Anyway,
We're well aware.
so my last story. This is actually like from a few weeks ago. So I was away in Scranton for the weekend for my sister's family weekend. Like my whole
Ooh,
family.
yeah.
Because like my whole family went because it was like her. Excuse me. It's like her first year in college, and so we. Her school's family weekend, by the way, is like sick. Like, there's free popcorn, free hot dogs, free cotton candy, free pretzels. There's, like, a trampoline ride where I was able to jump, like, 8 feet in the air because, like, they, like, hook you up to, like, this bungee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I was,
Let's be honest. Every college's family weekend's probably better than ours.
oh, yeah, probably. But, like, I was doing flips and stuff, and it was super cool. And they had, like, so they had one of those, like inflatable, like, mouse race things. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So it's like you start, you climb the wall, you slide down the slide, and you get through. Yeah. So me and my little brother did that as a race. Obviously, like we were racing each other. So they didn't like give us any indication of this, and we were also like only like the second people to do it. But apparently they were having trouble blowing up like a part of the race. So. At first, everything seems fine. So I do the rock. So like me and my little brother, we both get up to the rock climbing wall, and I notice my little brother is a little bit ahead of me. Like he's already beginning to slide down the slide, and I'm just getting up the rock climbing wall. So I decide it would be quicker to avoid the slide and simply dive head first, like into the area. So I basically do this, and then. That was like where I landed was the area where like nothing was inflating. So I was like expecting like a soft like balloon landing, and instead it just like the balloon like at least like lowers my velocity a little, But like at the end of the day, I'm just like straight like slamming myself like into the ground, and like I like slid in a way that like part of my head like. Got off of the balloon and like started skidding on the dirt, and so like I almost gave myself like a black eye, like almost like a cut, just from like skidding, and my face was like covered in dirt. But I didn't even like notice I was in pain at first because like Danny obviously my little brother had got like way ahead of me now because I like just face planted on the ground. So I just get up and start like going for it. He ends up beating me anyway. But then me and Danny get off the ride, and we're both like, "Oh shoot, where's my phone?" And I'm not even kidding. Both of us had our phones in our pockets, and both of us lost them.
I'm not surprised.
So neither of you really won this.
No, we both like heavily lost. So well, actually, I think I ended up winning in the end only because like we ended up getting on the ride like 2 more times and like pretending we were doing the race, but like really just looking for our phones. And I did find mine, and it was unscathed. It was unscathed. My phone was. Is that not amazing?
That's impressive. I mean, they usually
it wasn't me who found it though. It was actually my aunt who was like.
So did you really win? Then?
Yeah.
Well, I got a phone.
Yeah, he got his phone.
My aunt was like creeping the surface of the ride, like not creeping. I don't know what the word is, but she was
searching,
like, scouring.
Yeah,
she was scouring the surface of the ride, and she eventually found it, which was sick. We did not find Danny's, but like I had a free upgrade, and so my mom just kind of like used my upgrade to get him like a new.
Yeah.
Huh?
Where would it go? Did the
I
ride
don't
just
no.
consume it?
I legit think so because like we so the ride was closing at 3:45, and it was like 1 o'clock when we lost our phones, and I found mine at like 1:30 maybe, like pretty soon after.
Sure, no one just stole it.
Maybe.
Or maybe that's the price of the ride, is it? Ooh. Either takes your phone or takes your soul, and Paulie somehow escaped with both.
Well,
so
I mean, it did
death.
like hurt my head. So.
Yeah, like he cheated.
Yeah.
You got a fair price.
Yeah, you either get pain or you lose a phone.
Exactly.
I almost got both, but then it was like, oh, well, I already hurt his head, so I might as well re-gift him the ride. So we ended up staying until like 3:45, like just chilling and doing things on my sister's campus anyway. until they started closing the ride. And I swear to God, they closed the ride, they folded it all up, and Danny's phone was nowhere to be found. But we did find like a single piece of his phone's case. Like a single piece. It ate his phone.
So what you tell me is the demons were worried about Paulie suing them for his injuries.
So they
gave him his phone back. Like, don't sue us.
Yeah.
How do you sue demons? In court?
Yeah, like we have a court system.
But lawyers are demons already.
Exactly. That's
good
why
one,
it
Austin.
works.
Good one.
They know how the system of demons work. That's that you want a demon to
Should
be
I feel
your lawyer.
complimented by Paulie's comment?
It was sarcasm.
I know.
All right. What time are we at, Nick?
You are asking a good question. We are at 35 minutes and 38 seconds now.
All right. Well, does anyone have any final stories they want to share? Austin, you don't really give many. Austin's not really a storyteller.
No,
Austin's
he's a fact giver.
Yeah. Give us some facts, Austin.
Give us some facts.
Tell us
Real
about
hard
your
facts. We're at season 2. We're not canceled yet. That is a fact.
Oh, also, I think that one thing we should do. I don't know how I'm gonna get this to happen because I think we're gonna get like 9 people who listen. But I want to open some type of like forum for people to submit questions.
You're way too ambitious.
We talk
there.
about
Yeah.
Ooh, I like
You're
this.
way too ambitious there.
I like
No,
this.
no, because they could just ask anything. Like,
Well, we could even make a Facebook thing and be like, "Hey, give us questions to talk about our podcast." Then people will watch our podcast.
oh yeah,
Hear the answer.
Yeah.
to
Or
the
just
question.
make a Twitter.
Or just make a Twitter.
yeah. We can also use the Local Mag account
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
we
that's
are.
a good point.
Yeah, Local Mag is the online magazine that we are connected to through this podcast.
Why don't we use the Twitter for that?
I don't know. Well, anyway, my point is that I want to get like questions submitted.
So we have
Also,
more
wait,
stuff
I
to talk
also
about.
this is just a random thing I want to bring up. Nick, do you still like play Minecraft a lot?
Yes.
Yo,
maybe.
Minecraft is so sick.
It's gotten like they added so much
Oh wait,
stuff to it recently.
so I haven't played Minecraft since I was like, I haven't played it seriously since I was like 17. But like my thing, I think like I go through like year-long gaps. So like I think when I was 13, I was playing it nonstop.
Yeah.
Then I went through a year-long gap. Then when I was 15, I played it again. Then I took like another year-long gap, and now I think I'm in like a 3-year gap.
Yeah.
But I'm like feeling that I'm gonna start playing Minecraft.
Well, they added like a whole undersea world thing.
Oh,
like there's
that's
dolphins and sea turtles. Like there's all this stuff. Because like
I'm not
my
Wait.
entire friend group back home, we all mildly hate the game, but it's the only we always come back to that game.
Yeah,
It's
it's like Legos, except you can play it online.
exactly. We have a server right now.
I actually do want to get on that.
Yeah, no,
do you have like any sick Minecraft stories? Because I have some sick Minecraft stories.
I mean, yeah, like we used to have a doctor who's.
But mine is like, so one of mine is like verging on bullying though. But I think I should. No, I want to tell it.
Okay, because I have
All
one
right,
like
all
that
right.
too. So you
If we're gonna talk about that, then we need to mention when you kidnap someone at some point.
Okay. Well, we could do that.
That's the price.
Okay, fine. Austin likes to make that story sound worse than it is. But
It's pretty bad.
You
Okay,
kidnapped
anyway.
someone.
Okay,
what are you
anyway,
talking about?
so me and my brother and my brother's friend Liam. So me, my brother Michael, and Liam. We all played on this Minecraft server that had factions. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Okay, so factions is basically like I'm just telling for Austin.
Yeah, I understand.
He's not well versed. So factions is basically like
I'm not of the Minecraft lore, please.
it's basically like you can make little like squads, and then your squads have to like attack other squads and attack the base.
So high school.
Yeah, pretty much. Almost like extreme capture the flag with swords and death. So me and my brother's friend were all in this one squad, faction, whatever. I think we were called like, they all had names. I forgot what ours was called. I think it was like Dead Pandas or something stupid like that. and,
You're not child friendly this episode, are you?
and
Are
then
you really not.
And then there was this other faction, and it was owned by this guy named, his username was Onas of Ponas, which is a sick name. And he coincidentally like built a base only like a few steps away from ours was. Like I don't think he knew ours was there. But then one day we were like exploring the area and we found his base. And so like obviously he's getting up in our space. So we did the reasonable thing. We took over his base and destroyed it and took all his stuff that we could.
Yeah.
And then he got like super mad. I'm talking like this kid was ready to.
He's ready to throw down.
No, so this is what he started typing things in chat. Like he would be like, "Hey, just so you guys know, I'm from Chicago. Deal with guns and a lot of stuff. I'd watch your backs if I were you. I'm very well trained." Like this kid was like extreme. So then life goes on. This is like my sophomore year of high school. This is all happening, and my brother and his friend were like seniors, which they like. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's pretty sad that I was that old and that dedicated to a Minecraft server, but it's more sad for them. But so basically, we play on the server. I'd say like 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. And Owners of Ponas, just by chance, magically becomes like the leader of the most powerful faction in this server. Like, he's got like 12 people working for him.
Magically, he was aiming up to this goal to get
Yeah,
you
no,
back.
he was
just to get you back.
Yeah, no, this was like his Donald Trump like rise. And me and Michael and my brother's friend, we have like maybe 2 other people that are other friends from school that don't play nearly as much as us. And so now Owners of Ponas is like the man in charge, and I guess one day he like remembers where our base is, so he like raids it and like destroys everything like we did to him. Luckily we had a second base with some other stuff, so we had to move there, and it was this whole big thing. And Owners of Ponas was not happy that we were like still playing on the server, and we used to like every time we were on, we'd be like, well, we better be careful. This guy's from Chicago. He knows about guns.
Bring a gun to the game.
Yeah. So then, totally randomly one day, this other guy who's in Owners of Ponas faction messages my brother like privately on the Minecraft chat, and he says like, "Hey, Owners is like being an awful person, like he's being mean and stuff. He's like ruining the faction, and I hate him. And I want to take him down." And my brother was like, "Okay, how should we take him down?" So he gives he first teleports my brother into the base, and he lets him like take some stuff, but then he links Owners of Ponas' Facebook account because it turns out this kid was his younger brother.
Oh,
Betrayal.
Total
betrayal.
Family betrayal. So now we have Owners of Ponas, whose name was Dylan. I don't remember his last name. I'm not going to give it out anyway. But we have Owners of Ponas' Facebook account. So then one day he's like being his usual Owners of Ponas himself, and he's like, I'm so much more powerful than you guys. And my brother just goes, "Calm down, Dylan." And he's like, "How do you know my name?" I don't really remember. I think what ended up happening after that is that like me and my brother and my brother's like our high school had our midterms, and we kind of stopped playing for a week like to focus on school. And I'm pretty sure in that time, Owners of Ponas just like lost power, because I think when we came back, there was this other faction called like Milk Cows that was now in charge.
Defeated by the milk cows.
Yeah, and so yeah, it was a very like untriumphant ending to the chronicle of Owners of Ponas. But I'll like always remember that as like my prime like Minecraft experience was like taking down Owners of Ponas and then watching him like go insane. This kid from Chicago who knows a lot about guns. Dylan could be anywhere. Honestly, he knows a lot about guns.
He could be going to this campus right now. He's from Chicago.
He's from Chicago.
Oh yeah, he was also like 12. We were like 15, so that makes it even more sad.
Yeah, that's.
He's got the gun,
Yeah.
you know.
But in Minecraft, age is just a number.
So we were.
Don't say that.
My friends and I, I guess it was a year and a half ago now, maybe a little longer, maybe a little less. We were on a Naruto server, so like, it basically took like a magic plugin and just reskinned it to make it look like you're doing like the jutsu from Naruto or something. It was really cool. But there's this one guy with the username, it was like Tikiyu or something like that, and so he kept harassing us and like bothering us. Like, we don't know who this person is. Like, he would just attack us randomly, and we kicked his butt every single time. Like, I was like, like in SpongeBob, like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? It was like that. Like, leave us alone.
You beat up an old man who was just having fun on Minecraft?
No, like, I think he was like, I don't know,
Probably
15.
12.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, it's Minecraft. This is a children's game. We play just for fun. It's like, we're bored, and like, our friend was in Arizona. It's like, this is something to do while we were across the country, like, to talk to each other while playing. Like, we didn't care.
Yeah.
And then one day we come back, and so in Naruto there's this thing called the Anbu. So on this server they have like hierarchies. There's like a whole political system, and people are assigned positions and stuff. There's like the big bad guy from Naruto, Madara Uchiha. Like, there's a guy who is that, and it's like terrifying. Like, he's like a god on that in this game. And this guy, Tikiyu, tries to join like this elite group of people called the Anbu Black Ops. They don't let him. They say, no, you suck at this game. So he makes his own group of people.
Nice.
And like just starts attacking and terrorizing.
He made the Akatsuki.
And that's where we left the server. We don't know what happened. We're afraid to go back on because we think he's in charge of the server now.
That's probably
we think he usurped power and just took over everything.
Wow, absorbing power from Minecraft server.
Yeah.
Really cheap.
It's a lot of power for a 12-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now Austin, would you like to tell your version of the story of how I kidnapped someone, and then I can correct.
How about we tell it together?
All right. Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay, you guys can tell it, and I will correct all the errors.
Even when you say it yourself, it's still
bad. You know what? Let's have Paulie say it himself first. Let's do this.
Step up to the plate.
Because then he can. So that way he can't jump in and correct us.
Exactly.
Okay, so there was this kid at my town's local pool, and his name was Dougie, and Dougie was a friend of ours, and like friends do, we liked to razz each other, you know?
To razz.
So one thing we would do to Dougie is if he was being annoying to me and my friend James, is my friend James would step on his chest, and then I would pour a water bottle.
Okay. All right, let's stop.
It was a joke.
I don't think it was a joke to Dougie.
No, but Dougie incited it.
Regardless of how you
Did he say, put your foot on my chest and dump a water bottle on my face?
Regardless of how you word it, it still sounds bad.
No, but he would jump on James's back and do stuff like that, and then we did that once, and then it created this dynamic that if you do X thing, Dougie, then
we waterboard you. We commit an international crime. We waterboard you.
We torture you.
You mildly annoy me. I torture you.
Basically, hey, this is even leading up to the kidnapping.
Yeah, we're not even at the part.
We're not even at that part yet.
All right, so get to the part where you kidnapped him.
Okay, so
don't try and cover yourself up. Just tell the story.
Okay, so one day Dougie and all his friends are at the local pool, and they decide they're gonna bike down to the Dunkin' Donuts nearby, and they're gonna get, I don't know, donuts or whatever kids get.
Yeah,
and
donuts.
Me and our friend Johnny had just gotten his license, so we had vehicle transportation. And Johnny had an SUV that where the back opened almost like a door, you know?
Yeah.
Or a CRV or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. But anyway, we drive to the Dunkin' Donuts because we know that they're gonna be there. And I forget what Dougie had done. But Dougie did something.
You don't even remember.
I remember what Dougie did.
Oh,
from what you told me 3 years ago. He took something from one of your friends.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He took some. I think he took. It was either pants or
it was a P word. It was like a phone, maybe even.
I might have been a phone. I think it was pants or a phone.
Yeah. So he took pants or a phone. He took an object from one of your friends.
Yeah. I think it was phone this time because I think we thought it was a big deal. Even it was not we weren't actually mad. Also, we were never actually mad.
They were just conniving, gonna torture this kid.
Yeah, he was our friend.
So Dougie's at Dunkin' Donuts.
So we drive to Dunkin' Donuts, and we basically stake out the Dunkin' Donuts.
So you're stalking now.
Also, Dougie was he was a tiny kid. I don't think he hit his growth spurt until he was 16 or 17, and he was 2 years younger than us. So. How am I making it worse?
This isn't helping this case.
This isn't helping your case.
Anyway, so once Dougie and all his friends leave the Dunkin' Donuts, James jumps out of the car, grabs Dougie in a bear hug sort of way, and then runs back to the car, clutching Dougie and putting him in the back seat with me and some girl who was with us for some reason. I don't really know who she was or why she was with us. I forget. Anyway. We take Dougie back to the pool, and we beat all his other friends, obviously. A, because they had to get the extra bike, which was Dougie's back to the pool, and B, because they were on bikes and we were in a car. And so then we had one of those big Poland Spring jug type waters, and we were pouring it on him. We were "Where's the phone, Dougie? Where's the phone?" And he gave us the phone, but we still had water left. So I think we just.
He's we're already halfway done. We might as well finish.
All right. So at what point are we supposed to feel bad for you?
Well, wait. I never asked for sympathy. I think it's extreme to call it kidnapping.
All right.
I mean,
so I'm gonna tweak this a little bit from the story we heard a couple years ago.
Okay, go.
From what we heard a couple years ago is you didn't take him to the pool. You took him to the woods.
Yeah,
and after you waterboarded him, you left him there and drove away.
The pool was right by the woods.
Oh, so you're changing the
So
story.
you're changing your story.
There's like a woodsy area that's like a few feet away from the pool. Like you can see it from the pool. And so, like, once his friends got to the pool, they were able to see him because we remember they came over.
They saw his torture.
They came over after we had like finished, and they were like, "Oh, I guess we were too late." And we're like, "Yeah, take that, Derek."
So let's interpret the story. So he takes a phone. All right, yeah, that's fair. Like, it's okay to take people's phones. You stalk him at a Dunkin' Donuts. Someone who you even said looked like a small child. You had someone get out of a car.
I was still a small child.
In public, a person comes out of a car, grabs the small child, takes him into a car, drives away with the kid.
Oh, gee.
You know how bad this looks?
To the woods.
You know how bad this looks?
We take him to the woods, which, okay, fine. It's by a pool, whatever. You take him to the woods. You waterboard him. He gives you the phone. You continue to waterboard him. And then you leave him there.
His friends were with him by the time we left him.
You then leave him in the woods.
Okay.
If a police car is following you, you know what they just saw?
This man swears
they saw
he's
you
innocent.
adopt a child, torture him, and abandon him.
And then laugh about it.
And then laugh about it.
But it was all in good fun.
I don't think he was. I
don't know about Dougie.
Dougie.
Dougie, are you listening?
Dougie's fine.
Where is Dougie today? Is he like traumatized right now?
Is he still at that pool?
He's fine. Dougie's fine. He's in college. He's living a good life.
That's very vague.
It's very vague.
All right. Well,
I think we should leave this up to a vote to our viewers. Respond back to us.
Please do.
And let us know if you think Paulie kidnapped a child and tortured him.
Very
or if it was
dark
all in
this
good
episode.
fun.
or just tell me if it's just classic town antics.
Is this
classic
antics?
suburban antics?
I don't think I ever kidnapped someone, and I'm from the suburbs.
All right. Well, I think we are going to close it off there before I admit to more war
This is
crimes.
very dark.
Oh yeah, we're at 51 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So I will probably try to set up some way for people to send us questions, and then who knows? Next time we do this podcast, we might have a special guest.
Ooh.
Or a question.
Or questions to
It could be
answer. Or we might just be back to shooting the stick.
Or a guest with questions.
Whoa.
What?
That's just called an interview, Nick.
No,
on that note.
Austin, any final words?
The season's going a real dark route. I was not expecting this. A lot of dark stories from Paul, a lot of anger in this episode, but looks like a good future, hopefully.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Bye-bye.
So long.
See ya.